Welcome back, everybody. Our coverage continuing live here on the Stuff Speed Hub. You can see the Bridgestone GR86 entries starting to make their way to the dummy grid area here at Teretonga Park. Now, we apologise to our viewers here on the Stuff Speed Hub for the slight delay. We understand that a protest has been in play with the officials from Motorsport New Zealand, and it surrounds the car directly behind me for Josh Bethune. Now, there was an exclusion from race 2 for an alleged technical infringement, which would have impacted his position on the grid. Now, as we understand it, there's been a protest in relation to that, and we're waiting on the outcome for it. So we'll just wait and see what happens. The suggestion from my colleague, Stephen McIver, is that the protest against this is in relation to the measuring tool used around ride height. So I think the team at the moment have wisely just got Josh in the car, not worried about that, got ready to send him out. As soon as we have an update, we will let you know. We're about to take you to Stephen McIver, because in the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania paddock, there is a great story here. And Stephen, it is all about camaraderie. It's all hands on deck at Kiwi Motorsport, isn't it? It is all hands on deck. And if I walked inside, you can hear the amount of activity going on. Stephen Giles and some of his crew have come into the Kiwi Motorsport pit and decided to help out with getting these cars repaired for the feature race. Gary Orden's sitting over the jet bowling car. The right-hand side was actually quite badly damaged, and they just really are as busy as anything. There you go, Stephen Giles in the cockpit. I think that's Nicholas Studdy's car as well, which, as he said, wasn't damaged but was rather dirty. So it's going to be an intriguing afternoon to see these cars get on place. And just further to that protest with the Bethune car was about ride height. They were being pinged for, I'm told by Josh himself, 0.2 millimeters. Wasn't impressed.
I'm sure he's not impressed at all as we look at Statty's car. It is all hands on deck. And it's not a surprise for those who know Kiwi Motorsport to see Stephen Giles at least getting involved, because, of course, Stephen works with Kiwi Motorsport in the States. So they're quite familiar with working with the Kiwi team, but it's great to see all of them at work. Even Mo Larson out there, who's totally retired, but he was also helping out. Ronan, controversy, an infringement that's knocked Bethune down to 18th position, and that could be vital because he was just showing signs earlier in the day of really being a contender.
Yeah, it's obviously really disappointing for him, Jonathan. No, I saw the Bethunes just before coming back over to the comms box here, and they were. I think there's been quite a bit of controversy just around that whole last race. There was a lot of drama going on, and they were had involvement in it as well. So they certainly been dealing with a lot since that last race. But obviously this is never what you want, and something like this is never intentional. So.
Well, movement, as you can see. Let's head down to Greg Russ.
Just on Mason Potter, guys, the talk from the team down here is some sort of engine scenario I think will prevent him from taking part in this race. It may be a head gasket. They're trying to figure it out at the moment.
Great stuff. Thank you, Greg. And yeah, he had problems, if you remember, at the restart earlier today. There is Cormac Murphy heading out, and so we are back to systems normal. But let's take a look at the grid for this race. Justin Allen in P1, he needs the points, and Cooper Barnes, who had such a brilliant race earlier today, alongside him. Lachlan Evanet and Hayden Backruth, both winners already, and then Braun and Caleb Bias, who had a brilliant run in the last race. Chris White and Harry Townsend. Dion Pitt in 9th position, AJ Giddy, the youngest competitor, 10th. Then Blake Knowles, the Formula 4 champion from New Zealand, and Jet Murray from Australia. Hugo Allen, championship leader, but it's starting to look scant at the moment. Zach Blinko alongside him. Cormac Murphy starts 15th, Will Morton 16th. Mason Potter may or may not start 17th, and Josh Bethune all the way down in 18th position. That's going to remain controversial. Thomas Mallard, Christina Orr-West, the two Kiwis, 19 and 20, then Raymond Mallon, and then Emerson Vincent. Hayden Lyons and Cameron Hill starts 24th position. John Penny not here this weekend, and Alice Buckley's gone back to Australia. So we are set fair for another race, but it's always fun when you get a little bit of controversy before the start, but that's what the delay has been. And this is Cameron Hill in his spare car, Ronan. How much does that make to you to get into a car that you've not actually driven?
Yeah, well, it's actually the category spare car, Jonathan. So it's the Toyota or the Toyota test car. So very fortunate that there is an entirely built spare car that travels with the whole circus, and good that he was able to get out back on the grid for this final race, and that they cleared him obviously medically, and he was all okay after that incident this morning.
Yeah, you could see he's trying to get to grips with it and trying to get it up to speed and get the feel of it. Never easy. Big important race this for Justin Allen. He's dropped to 4th in the championship since this morning, and he lost out badly, and he needs this one from the front row, but the man of the moment sits alongside him. He put on a great display, the designer Living Kitchens number 186 of Cooper Barnes, taking his first major victory and pole position.
Just shows how much the tide's turned, doesn't it? Championship-wise, it's so tight at the top. You know, Justin Allen obviously had a bit of a rough one this morning, so for him it's certainly a case of trying to claw back some points, but he's in the prime position off the pole position to be able to do that.
Another important race for Hugo Allen, who starts 13th. Can he come through? So, calm before the storm. Perfect conditions here at Teretonga for the final race of the weekend. 3 more to come next weekend at Highlands. And on come the lights. And out go the lights. Away we go. And a good start from the 186 of Cooper Barnes, who immediately gets a nose ahead. But Justin Allen should have the better line into that first corner and has recovered well as he goes through the gearbox and now gets his nose ahead as they dive into the first corner for the first time.
Beautiful start from Justin Allen there. He did textbook start, just got it off the line nice. Good second phase there as well, no wheel spin. Cooper Barnes obviously got a good start there and hung in there to pull it to second there going around the first corner. As we see there, Hugo Allen somewhere in the mix, Blake Knowles as well. Cormac Murphy looks like he's made up a couple of spots. There, Chris White going around the outside of his teammate Caleb Byers there.
A little bit of a nudge from Hugo Allen on the car in front, just a little nudge, but he's carrying on. Nice clean start as they head snaking through the S's and to the penultimate corner here at Teretonga, down to the elbow for the first time. First lap of 20, long way to go in this one, and we've had drama throughout the weekend and some really nail-biting racing.
Yeah, it looked like AJ Giddy was actually getting his elbows out there, the youngest driver in the field there. He was doing a good job there in the number 10 car as we come around the final corner on this opening lap.
Everybody just dipping a wheel off the track, trying to get as much grip as possible. Let's see as they cross the line who's made up places, who's gone forward, who's gone backwards. And as it stands, Justin Allen has a clear lead, a 1:13.2 to set things in motion. Going forward is Arthur Braun in 5th position, so too Chris White. Losing a spot was Caleb Byers. So Byers, who had such a good run last race, has dropped a couple of places. He'll need to try and gain those back if he can. We're keeping a watchful eye on Hugo Allen to see how much progress he can make in this. He's currently in 10th, so he's up to the top 10, and that's early good progress from our championship leader. But Emerson Vincent is the fastest man out there on that first opening lap.
Yeah, exactly right, and really good pace there from obviously from Vincent. But looking back there at the front, Justin Allen, he's just doing what he does best. He's leading that race, controlling it from the front. Cooper Barnes is looking pretty racy there in second place, though. He gave a hint, but Allen didn't really move the car over, made sure it was important to get a good exit off that final corner. Lachlan Evident, the Aussie's doing a great job there in 3rd, and Hayden Backerus, our current championship leader, there in 4th place. Arthur Braun's rounding out the top 5. Chris White Jr. in another of the pack and save cars. He was hit with a pretty harsh penalty after that last race, so he's there now. Just dropped a spot to Harry Townsend in 7th. Caleb Byers there in 8th. Dion Pitt there in 9th, and Hugo Allen there in 10th.
Yeah, and interestingly, behind Hugo Allen, the fastest man on track, again, Emerson Vincent. He just did a 107.889, and so he's going to be putting the hurt on Hugo Allen fairly quickly. We're keeping an eye on Bethune. He's actually dropped a place. He's lost out, and he's now 19th, so it's not been a good start after that protest, and it hasn't worked out for him at all. Just a couple of millimetres was all it was, and yeah, that's what the delay was all about. But meanwhile, we've got a top 3 now starting to pull away from the pack, and it involves Lachlan Evident of Australia. But I say a 3-way pack. Backerus and Braun are also in that hunt.
And Barnes is looking down the inside, didn't quite have a run there. And Justin Allen, he's a wily competitor. He was late on the brakes and made sure that if Barnes was going to make a pass, he was going to have to try and outbrake him, and that's a really hard thing to do, trying to outbrake Justin Allen.
Yeah, Justin Allen reminded me he got his first ever 86 podium here back in 2019, and I was commentating that day. He's up against a man who only just has arrived on the scene, so it's definitely David and Goliath, or experience versus youth for sure, for the dapper man as he tries to hold off all these hard-charging youngsters. Caleb Byers sets the fastest lap in 8th position, 107.6, and so he is on the hurry-up as well. Hugo Allen still in 10th position. Dion Pitt ahead of him. Then Caleb Byers, Chris White 7th. Harry Townsend still in the top 6.
And Justin doesn't seem to quite have the early speed. You know, he had a great first lap and positioned himself well, but he doesn't seem to have the speed to be able to pull away from Barnes here. But what he's been able to do by defending really well is he's been able to push Barnes back into the clutches of Lachlan Evanet, Hayden Backerverse and Arthur Braun. So if he can try and put Barnes under pressure and make him sweat with those guys behind, then he may be able to get away at some stage. But, oh, we've got a car off the track. Caleb Byers. He's been nudged in the rear there by the looks of it. A little bit of damage on the rear bumper of the 33 South Fence machinery car. Disappointing there, especially after that race result this morning.
And he just set the fastest lap of the race, and I was just saying how well he was going, and now he's dropped right down the order, and he's behind Cormac Murphy, who's 15th at the moment. Back to the leaders.
Yeah, we go back there. Unfortunately, he just looked like he got spat out by somebody on the entry there. But we go back to the front. Harry Townsend's there in 6th place. He's having a great showing right now in this race out there behind Arthur Braun. Chris White Jr. is looking real racy in behind him as well. Our race 1 winner from yesterday, followed by Hugo Allen. He's having a pretty quiet race there, just an 8th, but he's closing in on these guys ahead and trying to make up for that qualifying result he had yesterday, but he's doing a great job.
I met Harry Townsend's dad earlier today, and they're still on a high after that great podium he got, his first one last time out at Hampton. Now, here we go. It's the elbow, and it's elbows out for Cooper Barnes. He's tried everything on Justin Allen, but Allen, the wily fox, is not having it just yet.
Justin Allen, textbook, just stopping the car right on the apex, preventing Barnes from getting on the throttle and just getting a good run off the corner. It's a good defensive move, and you see there, Evanet's got a run. It looks like
he's got a great run.
Barnes has missed a gear or something's happened there.
Yeah, look, he's gone backwards. He's got 2 places.
Yeah, that's not good. Maybe there's potentially a more lingering issue from that, but he certainly had a bit of a mistake or something's happened there, and it's given Lachlan Evanet, the young bloke from North Queensland and Australia, a crack at Justin Allen.
Yeah, no question. He's also doing Formula Ford and Trans Am in Australia later this year. It's going to be a busy bee for the Evanet family. Mum and Dad here this weekend. Both athletes in their own right in their day. Hugo Allen moving up to 8th position now, and just did his personal best of 108.1. So Allen on the move and looking to try and score big points. Here he is in the Carebets number 17.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, and we just saw there Barnes coming through turn 3. Jonathan Berg slide going on. He's having a massive crack trying to make up that ground. Bit of barge there, bit of nose to tail, but nothing wrong with that. These guys they're all pushing on very hard, and they're all chasing down the more experienced, the veteran Justin Allen, who's currently leading this race and doing a great job at that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Lachlan Evanet is really pushing hard now on Justin Allen. Look how close he is. Right there with him. So Allen had pressure for the first few laps, and now he's got more from the 24. The Aussie all over the back of him.
Allen doesn't seem to quite have the speed. His car just doesn't seem quite fast enough. But what he does have, and we see here, Evanet's trying to go around the outside. I don't know if that's going to quite work out. No. Justin's, beautiful job there from Justin. He's managed to keep him off the racing line. And again, Justin might not have the car speed, but he knows exactly where to place the car to fend off any attack, which is exactly what he did to Cooper Barnes. Barnes then under pressure missed a gear, lost a couple of spots. So he's just going to be trying to do this exact same thing with all these young guys, put them under pressure, try and make them sweat, and then hopefully at some stage, maybe he's just waiting for the tyre pressure to come up a bit more. Maybe the car will come on later in the race. Those guys, they sort of seem to have that strategy last time out at Hampton Downs, and it worked a treat.
Well, Backrus is waiting there in 3rd position, and he can sense that there's going to be an almighty battle between these two ahead of him. He leads the championship, as you mentioned. He wants to stay there, so he's got to keep his nose clean, but he could pounce when the chance comes if these two continue to go at it as they are. But the Napa 99, the all blue and yellow, he's had those colours for so long now, has Justin Allen, and very distinctive. And Bethune, we're keeping an eye on whether he can come forward. Certainly Hugo Allen has. He's top 8 now. Look, just flying up again. Bethune has moved 1 spot up. He's up to 18th.
Yeah, exactly right. Bethune's made some progress, and so has Cameron Hill. Those guys have both made a couple of positions. See Cormac Murphy and Caleb Byers there. Oh, there's been contact. Murphy and Byers have gone round.
Big off. And that will not help. There we are. And that is your brother. sadly, the 81, and that was three cars, I think, involved in that.
There's another car there as well that had gone off, Christina or West by the looks of it. So.
Yeah. So, race continues, lights blazing for Justin Allen, but there's nobody to blaze them at. He's leading the way and blazing a trail right now. But Lachlan Evanet, who has matured dramatically in the few weeks that I've watched him race, and coming over from Australia, loves these tracks. That's the one thing he said, is that I'm really, really enjoying racing these much smaller and fun tracks of New Zealand, and he's just finding his way really well indeed, and he's putting on a performance that is really putting the hurt on Justin Allen, who has probably the most experience out there right now. Hugo Allen still making his way, and talking of which, Hugo Allen making another move on Chris White this time, but can't pull it off.
Harry Townsend's in there as well, so Allen going around the outside of Townsend. Thank you very much. He's taken that position, and now he's trying to get on the back of Chris White Jr. So that's those guys are trying to move forward, try and make a bit of progress. AJ Giddy's now getting in there as well. Emerson Vincent there in behind, and Jet Murray. So a bit of a train going on between those guys. And
yeah, Harry Townsend's trying to find his way back into the slot, but he can't get there, and he's being hung out to dry and losing places by the minute here as we'll cross the line again. The leaders, the gap was just 0.2. Here's another look at what actually happened, Ronan.
So
tap, it looks like, to
unfortunately contact there between Murphy and Byers. Potentially one of them was squeezed, not sure there, but unfortunately, they both ended up losing out of that
somebody
one.
else is off.
That's someone's gone through the sign there.
Two cars.
Emerson Vincent, by the looks of it, the number 30 Turner's car, and the 73 car of Harry Townsend.
Oh, no. Well, I said Harry was trying to get back in, and maybe he tried a little too hard because he was losing spots by the minute and trying desperately to get back on level terms, but it's all come to naught, and that will, I think, bring out a safety car if either of them can't get out of that trap.
That will definitely be a safety car, and the car 73 there, safety car's just been called. The car 73 there actually looks like it may have even made the wall potentially, so can't quite probably see from this angle. No, he's managed to get it out, so good on him. Harry Townsend managed to keep it going, but Emerson Vincent's car there is beached, so.
Well, Ronan, let's take a breath here. Hugo Allen up to 7th place behind Chris White. We saw that battle starting to emerge. Braw is ahead of them. Here's another look at it.
So we're coming down the front straight here, and actually Jet Murray's up in the rear bumper of Emerson Vincent, and Harry Townsend.
Oh, that's what happened. Wow.
So he's clipped, Emerson's rear wheels clipped Harry's front wheel.
Yeah.
And being that he was getting a big nudge from behind, that's not a good recipe, and certainly not good down there at turn 1 when you're going that fast. So
I don't think I've ever seen that in an 86 race.
No, and that just looked like a really unfortunate set of circumstances there, where front wheel to rear wheel contact, and it's fired Vincent up in the air. So good to see he's okay. He's managed to get out of the car.
And as always, the hands device, the safety equipment, the belts, the helmet, all working as they should. And great to see him out of the car and making his way back. He takes a forlorn look back at what was his chances, but it's red flag now, and that will bring them all onto the front straight to stoppage, and it's starting to become a familiar story, isn't it, as this crowd watches on as we stop proceedings and are under a red flag here in the final race. So back to the monitors, back to have a look at what's going on. And Justin Allen, Lachlan Evanet, and Hayden Backers, your top 3.
Yeah, disappointing, obviously, when there's a red flag, but it's unfortunately sometimes part of motor racing, and yeah, disappointing, but looks like everyone involved in that was okay. Obviously, Jet Murray kept going. Emerson Vincent's out of the car, and Harry Townsend managed to keep going as well. We see another
look
replay.
At this. Yeah.
So he's getting a helping hand from Jet Murray, which at this point's fine. Townsend's on the outside there, and it just looked, so those guys have actually, all 3 cars have sort of moved closer in towards each other, and they've just made side-to-side contact. Usually if it was wheel to door, it would probably be okay, but wheel to wheel at that speed, clearly they didn't want to shake hands very well, those wheels, and it's unfortunately fired the car up in the air. But let's shoot down to Rusty in the lane and get some more info.
Ronan, just while we're in this holding pattern here, I've had a word to the Napa crew on Justin Allen's car. They tell me he is happy as Larry right now. Now, you asked the question, were they perhaps banking on having those tyres working better toward the end of this race, playing a slightly longer game. All they would tell me is that they have geared this for exactly this situation. They have worked their tyres in the event of a race stoppage. So Alan is in a really happy place right now.
Good news. And of course, like I said, Justin Allen dropped to 4th in the championship. So if he can continue at the sharp end, it'll help him dramatically. And I'm sure that's what's on his mind with the half distance now done. 10 laps. We'll probably do a couple of them under safety again to get us restarted once we pick up the Turner's number 30 and get it out of harm's way. Yeah, that'll lose us a couple of laps to get us up to speed, and then it'll be an 8-lap sprint.
And just going back to what Rusty was saying there, Jonathan, I think usually with a tyre strategy like that, it's probably a little bit risky. But at a place like this, where it's really difficult to pass, and if you can, you've got a good defensive game, and obviously we have seen, some red flags over the course of the weekend so far, then it's probably not in the grand scheme of things too bad of a bet. And obviously those guys have banked on that, and they've so far been correct. And we may see that car get quicker and quicker towards the end of this race. So certainly Justin Allen's one to watch out for, and he's certainly in this championship fight. And where he started the race and where he currently is exactly where you want to be when you're fighting for a championship.
Yep, no question. Well, they're doing a different way of getting him out. Instead of lifting him, they're just going to drag him. And once they can get him started again, maybe he can get himself back to the pits. Yeah, they are undoing him. So I don't think there's a lot of harm done to the actual car, but yeah, like you say, when two wheels come together at that kind of speed, that's a fast accident, about as fast as you go around here. There's a little fella ready to go racing. And hopefully we'll get the resumption of this race. And as you saw from the temperature, track temperature at 31, so it's getting hot out there this afternoon. And surprisingly, not the wind that we had last night. I thought it was some really bad weather was going to come in. That often happens here at Invercargill, but not this weekend. Let's head down to Greg Rust.
I'm with Harry Townsend, whose car's actually right at the front of the queue here. Mackenzie Motorsport guys having a little look around the back. Just tell us what happened from your perspective, Harry, and is the car okay?
Coming down the straight here, Emerson I got freight trained by a couple of cars, and Emerson's come up the inside here. And we've had a little bit of contact. Don't know if he moved right or I moved left, but we've had a little bit of contact, and we've both gone flying off at full speed. I was able to get my car out of the gravel. I was right on the edge between the gravel and the grass, so I was okay. But yeah, the car's got minimal damage, steering damage, but it's okay to finish.
Okay, we'll leave you to it. There he is. There's Harry Townsend. I'll get our executive producer, David Tunnicliffe, just to keep me honest here. We can keep wandering, I think, for now. The officials will get us to jump off the grid if we need to. Here's Justin Allen's Napa machine. Let's dive in here. The crew tell me that you're, despite this stoppage, you feel like this car is in great shape.
Yeah, no, we're fine. We're just, controlling it more than anything. So, yeah, no, looking forward to hopefully we get a restart. I don't know if they'll shorten it or not, because obviously we've had quite a delay for the race anyway, so hopefully we get a full race.
How much of an asset is your experience in this class in these sort of moments when you've got fast youngsters putting the pressure on and so on? Doesn't seem to faze you, obviously.
No, I think I've done this far too long now. No, look, at the end of the day, it doesn't faze me at all. I'm having a ball, and my experience is trying to get some of these young guys to obviously move on to motorsport like we've seen over all these years in this class.
Well done. We'll leave you to it, and the crew can keep talking with him. Let's wander back to Lachlan Evernet then and just see if he's got maybe something for the fight here. If we've got a short sprint here, have you got a little something in the pocket to take it to Justin? How you placed?
Yeah, I hope I can pull something out. I think he has a great defense right now. It's really hard to get past. I mean, at this track, but he's doing a really good job in front. I think for a moment there, I was just trying to bridge the gap from the cars behind, but yeah, it's also hard in the toe. So I just hope I can go back out there and get back into a rhythm and maybe make something stick.
Okay, you end up in that kind of frustrating thing here where you're chasing options perhaps around Teretonga are limited. From what you've seen of the behaviour of the 99, is there an ideal place around here where you might be able to execute a move?
I think it's really, really tough, like I said. He's doing really good for most of the lap, I think. Maybe a little bit in turn one, but that's such a hard place to overtake, especially when you can be on the defence down the middle of the straight. But yeah, just I hope I can make something work when I get back into the race.
Okay, you've been enjoying this championship, haven't you?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so close over here that yeah, the racing's awesome, the qualifying's awesome, even the practices, like, you know, it's all really, really close. So I ain't even going to Highlands next weekend. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And yeah, got to get through this one first though.
Okay, we'll let you focus on that. So we're being told we can keep wandering here. So why don't we do that? Here's Hayden Backer. It'd be nice to kind of grab the top spot, but you have a bigger picture to think about right now, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Just thinking about the whole season. So there's not much I need to do just here. Just make sure I finish every race and get maximize all my points.
We have seen a variety of winners in this championship so far this year, and it's been a wild weekend at Teretonga. How important just to sort of not get tied up in those kind of things when you are exactly, as you say, just kind of squarely focused on the bigger picture, the Bridgestone GR86 title.
Yeah, it's absolutely pretty tough. These front two guys look like they're having quite the battle, and I do want to join, but we'll see how we get on. Plenty of laps to go.
Okay, we'll leave him to it. There's Hayden Backer. So what we might do, I think I can see the Toyota Supra safety car setting off. What we might do for now is just take you back to commentary, because we could be being cleared from the grid here and hopefully get the action back underway here at Teretonga Park Raceway very shortly. Back to Jonathan.
Thank you. There's Ronan's car. He'll be wafting off in that later this afternoon. Where are you heading?
Oh, I wish I owned a lovely piece of machinery like that, but maybe one day. Who knows?
Well,
but,
like this.
Oh,
I'd take that, you know. That'd be fun.
I'd go jump on a quad bike. That'd be good fun, especially down here in Southland. I reckon there'd be some good trails.
And a shout out to our volunteers who do a hell of a job. I know they love motor racing, and that's what they'll tell you when you have a beer with them. But if it weren't for them, we would have a lot longer delays. And yeah, there they are doing their job and got the high vis on. And yeah, shout out to them. They do a hell of a job. It was interesting hearing from Justin Allen. I've been watching his career for a few years now, and it's been a big change. I know his parents pretty good, and they follow him around. But of course, it was a family team. It was like the little team that could a few years ago. But now he's joined Syndicate. I think he really is enjoying his racing, because that's all he's really worried about. And he doesn't have to worry about the setup or the tyres or whatever else. He lets them get on with it, and they're pros. And that's why I think he's enjoying his racing so much.
Yeah, no, he's doing a great job, and just had some word before that. Apparently, you know, they seem to think their car is just really good in the second half of the race, and they seem to be able to gear it to come on in that last phase. And we heard from Rusty, obviously on the grid, that they were rubbing their hands together when this red flag came out. So we may see Justin look to drive away, and he may potentially do that after the stoppage. But we've got to wait to see. And obviously, never nice to see a red flag, Jonathan, but the silver lining out of this is that we get to see everybody start nose to tail again, no gaps, and just go for it for the second half of the race. It's almost like a stage race like NASCAR.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, there was a bit of brushing going on there. I don't know if there was any debris on the ground or it's just dirt and dust from the cars put down. But the brushes were out. But finally, unless they were doing a curling competition without my knowing, but they are off track now. So hopefully they've got whatever was down there. And Toyota, it says it there, finding New Zealand's next world champion. And as Justin Allen pointed out, this has been such a great breeding ground for so many future stars of New Zealand racing. And, you know, I think about the guys that have just gone just purely to Earl Bamber's Porsche team in Australia from this series over the years.
Yeah, no, it's been a great stepping stone for many young New Zealand drivers looking to go places in the world. And we've seen plenty of previous race winners and champions and podium finishers go on to do pretty cool things overseas. So it's certainly the breeding ground, and it's the premier, one of the premier categories here in New Zealand in terms of young driver development and getting these young guys to go places. But as we see some of the cars taking off, it looks like a bit of an issue getting a couple of them going.
Yeah, a couple of them still
get going
stuck
now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, talk about Marcus Armstrong. He started in 86s. He didn't do much 86 racing. Stuck with the single-seaters, now an IndyCar driver. Callum Hedge, of course, had a very successful 86 campaign, now in Indy Next himself, and has been a brilliant performer in both Porsche and at the FR level in the USA, where he was champion a couple of years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Wood's another one.
Yep.
A supercar driver for Walkinshaw Andretti United in Australia, and he's actually going to be a factory Toyota driver next year when the Walkinshaw Andretti United team go over to the Toyota brand. But as we see here, so they're going to have 2 warm-up laps before they get released again under this red flag. So they'll about halfway around the first one, and then they'll have another one. Then we'll see the green.
So then, we await the restart of this, and as always, when you head behind the safety car, the laps do tick down. We're on the 11th lap, and we should do the 12th under safety car as well, and that means that we will have an 8-lap sprint, and these fans getting ready. What a great, very great spot. Get back in the truck, get a nice perch to watch the racing.
Yeah, we see there everyone's got a little slightly different methods for warming up the cars there. Justin seems to be quite light on his tyres. Evan was putting a little more heat through his, so everyone's got different ways, and I'm sure it will also have to do with how they've set up their car and how they've set up the tyre pressures as well, in terms of how much heat they actually want going through them. But we've got one more lap under the safety car, then we'll be going green, see green flag conditions again, and see what these 23 cars out there left, what they can do.
Nice to see a nice Corvette ready to go take on the roads of Invercargill.
That's beautiful, isn't it? And also a red FD GR86 as well. They're pretty rare nowadays to see in good condition. So really nice to see some cool cars out here today, here at Teretonga Park.
I saw one of, I think, just 2 DeLoreans. One is in the museum at Highlands, and one is in Barry Leach's shed.
Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of things in Barry Leach's shed that are weird and wonderful.
They are.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's some seriously cool cars, and down here in Southland, they love their motorsport and they love their cars. So great to see some people out here today, and there's the team.
Good bit of camaraderie between the engineers as they're on the headphones, and we've heard the safety car will be pulling in and we'll be going racing, so the laughter will stop pretty quick and we'll go racing again. And we're keeping an eye on the Supra as it circulates around.
Yeah, Kerry Holland and the boys down at Syndicate Motorsport, they certainly got a lot of reasons to be smiling right now. Their man, Justin Allen, out leading the field currently, but I'm sure we're going to see a restart shortly, Jonathan. I expect the lights will go out.
Wow, good timing.
Yeah, could have counted that down 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, you could, well done. So Justin Allen in control of this race in the 99, and as he said, he's got a host of youngsters. He may have the experience, but they are hungry. They're hungry for victory. They're hungry to race in these conditions. It doesn't get any better than this at Invercargill. And it's a track that everybody likes racing. So then, here he comes. He'll start to accelerate down the main straight. And keep an eye on those flashing yellow lights. When they go green and we're racing, and away goes Allen.
He'd already bolted, I think, and he timed that perfectly, so he's got about a 2-car length gap back to Evanet. Evanet's got a little bit closer gap back to Baccaris, and the top 3 have just broken away from everybody else, caught everyone else napping, so good on those guys. They've pulled out a bit of a lead now over Cooper Barnes. Arthur Braun's still there in 5th, Chris White Jr. in 6th, and Hugo Allen there in 7th. Dion Pitts there in 8th. AJ Giddy, the youngest driver in the field, down there in 9th, and Jet Murray rounding out the top 10. We see there Justin Allen and Lachlan Evanet already on the defensive. Baccaris, and that's brought those other 2 cars of Barnes and Braun back into the battle.
5-way battle now. We're keeping an eye on Hugo Allen because he'll know that Justin Allen is leading this race and taking vital points off him. He's not far behind in 7th place, but Chris White is a tough competitor. But watch this number 17 go. He's had a rotten weekend by his standards. He's been the most consistent driver of the season, led the championship up until coming to Teretonga, qualified 21st for the first race, and it just went bad to worse after that. But he's recovering well. He got a decent result in race 2, and here he is in 7th now as it's Linus Stern once again here on lap 14 now. Still under pressure. Justin Allen says he's in control, but for how long, we wonder.
Yeah, exactly right. The fields, as it started to sort of spread out a bit now between all the cars, that's Lachlan Evanet certainly hasn't left the rear bumper of Justin Allen's car though, and Baccaris is now giving him a hurry up as well. So these guys are pushing on. You see there, Allen running the car narrow down there. Evanet doesn't have a choice. He can't really do a whole lot other than drive into the rear bumper, which you don't want to be doing. So he's starting to Justin again. He's backing these guys up into each other, which is what you want to be doing when you're maybe don't quite have the car speed at the moment, but you can run the defensive race. So he's doing a great job. Baccaris there in 3rd, Barnes still in 4th. Arthur Braun is all over the back of Cooper Barnes, our pole sitter and last time out race winner.
I'll tell you what, really impressed with the way Lachlan is keeping his composure here. He's got two very experienced guys, one in front, one behind, and they know this 86 inside and out. He's still learning his trade, and but he looks like the complete picture in terms of skills at the moment in his racecraft, because he's putting some real pressure on Justin Allen. He jigs to the outside now. Is there a way around the outside, or will he switch back and go back into the inside? Now he goes inside.
And that's the beauty of turn one. There's a couple of different lines you can take on the entry, but it's looking like this is the last lap, so we've gone time certain.
So, well, it had to give, and Justin Allen sort of said that might happen, because obviously we've got a busy race schedule, including the final feature race for CT Frock. But this, the final lap then, and they'll have told Justin on the radio. So he's just got to hang on now here in the closing stages. But that changes everything.
There's really only one more passing opportunity for Evanet or Baccaris, which is this last corner coming up. But Justin Allen, he got out of third to last corner brilliantly. He's got a little bit of a margin, but I'm sure he's not going to give them the opportunity heading down there to last corner.
Yeah, he's going to make himself nice and wide, which he does. Comes out of the elbow for the last time then. Time certain race in the end because of the hold-ups, but it's going to be Justin Allen, and this is a really important win here in Teretonga. Justin Allen will come to the line and take the checkered flag and holds off Lachlan Evanet of Australia brilliantly by 0.2 of a second. Hayden Baccaris, the championship leader, will increase that lead now. And Cooper Barnes takes another excellent 4th place ahead of Arthur Bourne in 5th place, and Chris White 6th. Hugo Allen saves his blushes, if you will, at the end of the day with another good result, of points haul of 7th place for him, beating Dion Pitt, who's come back into the championship, the former 86 man, to help out the team. Race Lab really thankful for that. Well done to him. And confirmation then, Justin Allen with the win by just 0.2 over Lachlan Evanet. Hayden Baccaris in 3rd, Cooper Barnes, Arthur Braun, Chris White 6th, Hugo Allen 7th, Dion Pitt 8th, AJ Giddy. Good result for the youngster 9th, and Zach Blinko rounding out the top 10. Then Blake Knowles, Jet Murray, Thomas Mallard, Cameron Hill, Josh Bethune did make a couple of places up, having started 18th after that infringement. Will Morton, Hayden Lyons 17th, Caleb Byers, Harry Townsend, all involved in big incidents, as was All West, Emerson Vincent and Raymond Mallon, and Cormac Murphy rounding out our leaderboard. Let's have a look at the highlights then, and right from the get-go, it's a good start from Justin Allen. It was a second phase, as Ronan described it, and I know exactly what he means. He didn't get the perfect start, but once he hit 2nd and 3rd gear, he got his nose ahead, and the rest, as they say, is history. He had to wait, though. Well, cars going left, right, and centre, including the 33, but that was not the worst of things. There was more to come. And Evanet really looking good in 2nd place. Baccaris makes the move and goes into 3rd, past Cooper Barnes. And there was more to come. This was a big moment for Townsend and the number 30, both involved in that one. A nasty little incident. And sadly for Emerson Vincent, that was day done. Restart then, and once again, Justin Allen timed it perfectly. Baccaris in 3rd place, trying to make up some ground, and the top 3 pulled away, but as they fought, the others caught up, and Cooper Barnes, Arthur Braun, Chris White, all involved. But at the end, it was Napa, know-how, and great stuff for the team. Good friendship, good camaraderie, and Justin Allen, that's right, pump that heart. He's number 1. Let's head down to Stephen McIver.
Thank you, Jonathan. Saunter and hear me, old mate. Congratulations. A fine race, you would suggest?
Yeah, I was nice and controlled at the end of the day. Like, I didn't quite have the pace that I did this morning, but that's all right. We had enough to just hold them. So, and I think credit to the guys. Thank you for all the effort this weekend. So yeah, amazing way to finish. So hopefully got some good points.
I heard you on the pit lane and you were talking about, being the wise old man and helping some of these next generation drivers. Just quickly, they needed talking to after this weekend?
I'm not going to comment about that. That's not for me to discuss. But look, we stayed clean, so we showed this morning that we can go from 21 to 9 with no damage. So I think that's the only comment I need to make.
All right, mate, take that one. Well, congratulations on P1. Lachlan Evanet gets another podium. Smile still on the young Australian's face. Just briefly, talk us through that race.
Oh, you know, it's hectic from start to finish. You know, it's really, you have to be on pace the entire time, no mistakes, and it's really tough to do. And I think it shows the skills of everyone up here. Like, everyone drove great in that race. You know, I couldn't bridge the gap to the cars behind. I couldn't get past the cars in front. Like, it was so close. Yeah, I'm happy with that result. 2 podiums in a weekend.
Keep smiling, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And in P3, it was Hayden Baccaris who was the championship leader. He'll extend that lead with that P3. Congratulations, championship leader. The race for you, how satisfying?
Yeah, really good. My main focus was just keep the nose clean and finish the race. Just make sure I maximize those points. Those front 2 guys were pretty quick, and it's pretty hard to pass around here. Couldn't really find a way forward, but P3 really happy with it.
Well done, mate. Get ready for the podium.
Cheers.
All right, so let's do the podium, shall we, for race 3 and round 3 in the Bridgestone GR86 Championship. Trophies today presented by Gareth Michelle, Bridgestone Regional Sales Manager. And in 3rd place, Hayden Baccaris. In 2nd place, Lachlan Evanett. And your winner in 1st place, driving the Napa GR86, Justin Allen. And that is your official podium for race 3, round 3 in the Bridgestone GR86 Championship.